So this is all 13. For some reason it counts 1 even numbers, odd numbers. That's fine.
And you've defeated a few.
I have defeated a few.
Let's just ignore that.
But Carter totally edited in that blue coloring for us.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, we'll start with Jesse McCartney.
Okay, now, because we're right here, and I rambled about it a little, but like I said, the data fights, I fucking hate almost all of these. No, scratch that, I hate fucking all of these. Everyone wanks these fights off for how hard they are, but they're only hard for artificial difficulty. The game just has obnoxiously jacked... The game is just an obnoxious damage sponge that deals obnoxious damage with an obnoxiously jacked up revenge value. That's all these fights are.
What are you talking about? Do you see him challenging Sean's mechanics right now?
He is only challenging them through invincibility and revenge values. That is
revenge values are the best thing about Kingdom Hearts 3.
They're the fucking worst.
Good, man.
What do you mean? I don't understand your problem with revenge values.
Look at Sean. Look at Sean using his mechanics.
My problem with revenge values are 2 problems. One, most people say it was my 2 problems with revenge values are these 2 problems. One, most people say it was there to discourage button mashing. It's actually there to. It actually ends up encouraging it.
Explain to me how. That doesn't make sense.
If you actually sit there, like I'll use this boss as a prime example. If you get good at this boss and fight him enough, you can learn when his revenge value prompts.
Yes.
When you learn his revenge value prompts,
you know when to stop pressing the button.
Sit there, combo him, get him to do this light pillar attack, let him finish that, run up to him, combo him, rinse, repeat. You get him in a lock.
So,
okay,
so you're telling me that you adapt based on the boss's pattern.
But you're manipulating the pattern.
No, you're not manipulating the pattern. He's gonna do that light attack, regardless of whether or not you finish the combo. You're literally just doing what you would do regardless of if he had revenge values or not. Which is not attacking him when he would punch you in the dick.
Carson, my problem with what your statement is, I don't think anything that requires me to learn the game to manipulate is a problem. Because I feel like you have to judge something based on its use when you first play something, and you can't do that the first time you play it. And if anything, the revenge... Have you seen what happens if you turn revenge values off in this game? I have. Do you know what happens?
I'm guessing the game just stands there.
The game just stands there. You win.
But it's also because it was programmed with revenge values in mind, so they have no...
And have you
seen
BBS? Have you seen BBS with revenge values on?
No.
Someone went into the code and literally coded in revenge values. You know what it looks like?
What?
You can actually fucking bread and butter combo.
Yeah,
because guess what? When you're hitting people, they don't do shit.
Yeah, they can just well, when you hit the issue is in this. So when I hit Roxas and he decides he's done being hit, it's not because the game just decided arbitrarily it was done being hit. It's because I hit the revenge value, and that's when Roxas counters.
And in these fights, the revenge value is jacked through the fucking roof.
No, they're if I were under.
Hey. Would you like jack through the fucking roof or 2 hits?
Because you know what?
Because Vanitas might as well be 2 hits.
Do you know how revenge values actually work?
It's the amount of damage you do.
No,
because remember, guys, you're too slow.
Hold on, I'm gonna show you what I mean.
Too slow.
Because Roxas is a perfect example of why revenge values work in this game.
Take that. Defend.
So if you notice, he counters. That's because I hit the number of combos he can handle. And I have to try to create my next opening. But he won't stun until I create that opening. Once I create the opening, I get free hits. But I only get free hits until I hit the revenge value, which makes him counter. And he will have some amount of invincibility frames. Now, most bosses in Kingdom Hearts 2 don't just turn invincible in those invincibility frames. Certain attacks obviously have more invincibility frames.
There's one that just sits there and he's like,
yeah, right. Most, like I said, most. In BBS, enemies' attacks have priorities over you, always have priority over you, because there are no revenge values. And when the boss decides it wants to attack, you just get hit. That's why Command Deck is just arbitrarily better than your regular attacks, and why regular attacks are obsolete in BBS, and why it's unsatisfying to hit things in BBS. Because you can run up and hit something, but that just basically means you're giving the boss damage.
especially in a game where it still thinks that you're using regular attacks.
Which is why in Dream Drop Distance...
that game acts like it can encourage you to do so, but that's not a good idea.
In Dream Drop Distance, the reason it's just so much easier to use flow motion is because you can just... You have invincibility frames in it, and you can just avoid smacking things.
I've seen everyone say flow motion does not give you invincibility.
It gives you some, but not a lot.
No, I swear
Plus, they nerfed it.
In fact, I swear I remember a complaint when the game came out, this was the 3DS version, was people complained that the flow motion didn't have enough invincibility.
It really doesn't.
Man, don't you know we gotta balance some things sometimes. I mean, after all, we had to balance to make sure that good old Aqua's cartwheel was as good as it should be.
My second problem with the revenge value, besides the looping problem, it then also leads to the problem of, you know, the bosses will, again, and this is more specifically for the data fights because of how quickly it builds in these fights. That basically results in the boss doing its essentially giant fuck off attack constantly. Like, think about the Marluxia fight.
That's why you're supposed to learn when their revenge values are and avoid it. That's why you're supposed to stop attacking so you don't hit the revenge value. Because if you stop attacking, the revenge value will reset. That's how people fight Zigbar. Speedrunners fight Zigbar by not triggering his revenge value, which means they have to stop attacking, discouraging button mashing. Because nobody wants that, because Zigbar's revenge value after he hits, I think, a certain amount of health is to always trigger his ultimate. Whereas Roxas does his with weird intervals. But in BBS, the boss just looks at you and says, "You're done. I'm done being hit." When the boss decides to attack you, because bosses don't stun in BBS.
Too slow.
So when Xehanort decides he's gonna smack you in the face, he'll just smack you in the face and you're gonna get hit.
When Vanitas decides he's gonna disappear and just smack you, he's gonna just disappear and just smack you.
But I watched the video where someone took out revenge values from Kingdom Hearts 2, put them in BBS, and gave BBS, stun. Because BBS doesn't have stun. Bosses just have super armor. All of them.
Yeah,
Everything has super armor. They stun for like half of a quarter of a second. They literally flinch when you hit them and realize they're not hurting. And they smack you back. And Dream Drop Distance isn't much better. Flow motion actually knocks them back. And Balloon does too. That's why Balloon's broke.
Alright, time to fight Song Yule.
What does that mean?
Was it last or powerful?
Sangyo.
One of the two. Yeah. Oh, it is a Turkish name. Sun meaning fast or last or final, and Yul meaning rose. So she is the last rose. Sung Yul.
I would honestly, that name would work more for Marluxia.
I looked that up because I thought Marluxia was 12. Marluxia is actually not. He's 11.
So she's the last rose.
See, man, she's just like the mushroom. She makes clones of herself.
A few mushrooms can make clones.
Mariam, I've been practicing my thunder magic. Good, practice it more. It'll need to be as best it can be.
Art.
I have plans for you over there.
Yeah.
You shall be the strongest thunder user of all the Keyblade buildings.
So, pro tip. Leave the room before you set things.
So that way, the game doesn't beat you over the head with its instancing of terrible degrees.
Oh.
You hear that? Yeah, see? Carter has the right idea. Ow. Yeah, that's how it feels every time the game doesn't put your stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love this boss.
Don't understand why.
Terrible taste.
You know what's wrong with this boss? He doesn't have thunder drive.
The only thing about this.
Where's her thunder drive?
What? The only thing about this picture I have, and the like picture, it was a text someone got, and the text was, "Do you want to have a threesome?" And the person they sent that to was like, "Sure." And then they were like, "Wait, with who?" And then the other person said, "With me and a second person of your choice." Sorry, then no.
Wait, what?
What?
What's what I said? Do you not get it?
Oh my god. Yeah, I get it, and that's
No.
why it's bad.
Sean said what? Does he not get it? Do you not get the threesome?
No, that doesn't make sense. to me.
They asked him if they wanted to have a threesome, and they said, yeah, sure. Wait, with who? And they said, with me and a second person of your choice, and they said no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So,
Yeah.
Also, from Roxas, we got a magic boost. When you beat Roxas, for some reason, he gives you magic boosts.
He's
And I
trying
have
to
no
help you
idea
learn that
why.
light magic, man.
I have no idea why.
He's trying to help you learn the light magic
But
that he's
all
got.
of the absent silhouettes will give you lost illusions. Because they are the lost illusions. But Roxas gives you fucking magic boost. That's okay because Luxor gives you AP boost for some damn reason. And don't get me started on fucking Syax. Lexi is the only one that makes sense. You know what he gives you? Defense boosts.
yeah.
Because you're gonna need them.
That threesome post is one of my personal favorites.
Someone come up with something nasty to say.
The data
Call of
fights
Duty
are
should have
bad.
won Game of the Year.
Marluxia, that's dirty! start with your combo. What the fuck, man? I was counting on you to be consistent.
Then I also have, and I've edited this picture into a lot of videos.
You see, he's doing nothing.
Then I also have this picture where someone got a message from a friend of theirs, and the message, it's a camel, but it's wearing like weird leather like kink gear, and then
You had the opportunity to do the restoring your account.
and then the like. So it's
You
like
want the extra damage that goes on?
it's like a camel wearing like weird, sexy leather, and then the person they send it to, they then send a reply. Sorry, wrong person. The person that they sent it to. Who the fuck is the right person? Then they sent back, I'm sorry you had to see this side of me. Then the person they sent it to in all caps. Who the fuck is the right person? Because it's a camel wearing like sexy leather.
Normally you would start doing weird. Normally you would start doing that stupid cartwheel move more.
I think everybody here needs to ask themselves a real question. Why is Marluxia in the Kingdom Hearts 3 opening?
Because Marluxia will obviously be mom. I'm too tired to make a terrible mom theory.
And then, well, I'm just thinking of random images I have saved to my computer because they're mildly.
Why do you have invincibility frames during that one attack?
Because we
Because
gotta
you gotta
have
charge the things to get the circles out.
They gotta have that challenge.
Hey, man, you're interrupting his circle channel,
Nothing
man.
says a challenge like invincibility and super armor. Isn't that right, Dark Souls?
Well, I was going to say an image I
What do
remembered.
you mean? There's no super armor in Dark Souls.
Every thing, either invincibilities through your attacks or just it doesn't fucking flinch. I'm going to save my rant.
Are you skeletons flinch?
I'm going to save my rant on Dark Souls when we get there.
Heck, you can make the fucking legendary Black Knight flinch. It's not easy, but you can.
Hey, Marcy, quit trying to shoot me. Love this boss.
Before you two
Where's my Martian Marluxia Larxene boss fight?
stop saying that. Before you two,
Horrible idea.
Somebody come quick!
before you two showed up, I watched this video about this guy who, due to being trapped in a legal loophole, he was living in an airport for 18 years.
What?
So he lived in Iran, but he was part of this group that technically wanted to.
So you gotta do little circles, otherwise those portals will hit you. And then you gotta start doing big circles so that his attack
Okay,
doesn't hit you.
so let me break down the dude who lived in an airport because this is great and just talks about the
It's
confusion.
great in that fucked up way.
Dude lived in like Iran, and he was technically part of this group that didn't like the leader of that country. So he was basically deemed someone who was trying to overthrow the government. So they denounced his citizenship, meaning he was no longer part of that country. Then, he found
That's
out.
right. Eat the Donald.
Then he found out that his mom was British, and because he was no longer part of the country of Iran, he couldn't get his dad's inheritance. But because his birth mom was British, he wanted to go to the UK to take a British citizenship test to become British and get
Screw
his
your death circles.
life back in order. But he didn't have his refugee papers that would allow him to travel as a refugee.
What are you talking about? Look at how much damage I do in these fights.
Because of this
Hey,
man...
look. Actually, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes?
These fights are literally a million times better on critical mode.
It's time for the question of the day, my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how many of you agree with the point Carson was trying to make about the revenge value? I know this topic can be incredibly loaded, but I generally agree with him. The revenge value was put in the game as a way to prevent people from spamming attacks, because the point of the revenge value, once it goes over a certain threshold, bosses will basically counterattack and or reset position by getting away from the player. This is normally done with some kind of counterattack to punish the player for spamming by making the player take damage or forcing the player to react to an attack, meaning they might have to block or dodge and back out of their combo. This system does exist for a purpose, and it was to stop people from looping the bosses. However, the argument Carson is making is that it will encourage spamming, because if you know how the damage thresholds work, you can spam and ignore going over the damage threshold. This kind of trick lets you exploit the game and loop bosses. But I could see a lot of people making an argument that this is a speedrun trick, and that a casual player would never sit there and calculate the revenge value damage threshold in their head to make sure they never cross it. However, a lot of casual fans might pick up a few tricks from watching a speedrun, and even outside of that, one of the best ways to deal damage in Kingdom Hearts 2 is to use fire magic as a combo extender, and the way that affects the revenge value is incredibly interesting, because almost every hit of the fire magic does not add to the revenge value. You only see an increase when finishing off a combo. It counts like a combo finisher multiplier for the revenge value. So a bunch of people might have unintentionally spammed this overpowered fire combo extension trick and not realized that they are ignoring a boss's revenge value, because most of those hits will not affect the counter. So while it is somewhat unconventional, the game does encourage spamming things like magic to extend your combos, because that removes the revenge value from the equation, effectively undermining the system that everyone praises for being good, when you can make an argument that ideally the best optimal play is to bypass that system by spamming attacks that do not affect the system much while dealing a lot of damage. This is why you will see speedruns always resort to a common setup of getting a combo going and extending it with the fire magic, because of how good that can be. Even if that is more of a speedrunning trick, casually you might have done that without even realizing you did, but I have been rambling way too long. I'm just really passionate about this. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord link, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I will see you all next time. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Bye.